5 teams sort of viewed as leading the way as potential trade partners right now: the Rockets, the Timberwolves, Miami, the Spurs, and New York. And Shams is reporting now today that a lot of teams are trying to make this move here and hopefully try and make it before the NBA draft, which makes a lot of sense because if you have a high draft pick, there's a lot more value in it, trading it now and letting them pick their own guy versus totally not good and selecting somebody and kind of build your roster a little bit better. If you know you have Kevin Durant going into the first, not sure if you're going to get him during it. But apparently the team leading the way right now, or the team that is being the aggressor, is the Spurs, which is a really weird, not just for San Antonio. I think it's kind of a weird fit. I don't think it fits the bill of what he's shown so far. Let me explain. So first off, there is a treasure chest of things that San Antonio can trade in this thing. They have like 7 first-round picks still at this point. They have a lot of really good young talent. Now, obviously, some of those guys are not going to be available, whether it's Victor Wembanyama. They obviously just traded for Fox, and they got enough guys on their roster that are young and talented that they're going to want to keep a lot of those guys. But they also have some good expiring contracts. Harrison Barnes is making $18 million. His contract is going to be coming off the books here. Johnson's making $19 million. You put those together and you're already knocking on the door of KD's $51 million. You need about like one more piece in there. And you throw in a bunch of those draft picks and you get what I think Phoenix needs right now, which is to press the reboot button, because this team is not going anywhere fast. Like, they really need to start from the ground up. But, I mean, if history tells us anything, that's basically the last thing that Ishbia wants to do. He is just the guy that traded the farm to go get Bradley Beal and give him a no-trade clause. And that is the worst contract in the NBA, bar none right now. And it's one that's hamstrung them for a couple of seasons now. He's just a guy that likes acquiring big-name talent, and I don't know if in today's NBA that is going to hold up anymore with kind of the way that the aprons are set up, and they're just so hamstrung with that Bradley Beal contract. So they need to press the reboot, but I don't see Ishbia doing that because he likes bringing in names and likes having his guys and like the star power and trying to sell it on the vision that this is going to work this time. Despite the fact that they were maybe, could argue, was the biggest disappointment, but if not them, I mean, it was the Suns this past year. The other one, when you talk about a trade, there's 2 teams. I don't know what San Antonio would be doing with this. I just roster. They got Victor Wembanyama. They got Fox. They got, Castle. They got a lot of really, really talented young guys that you want to develop. You want to use that pick, sprinkle in, see if you can find one more guy that hits and follow the model that kind of OKC is kind of put together right now. And then you're going to have a sustained success for a while, you'd hope. I mean, Victor Wembanyama is, 2 seasons away from being the best player in the league for 10 straight years, probably. Like, he's going to be incredible. He's already the best defensive player in the league. If he can add just a little bit more to his offensive game, he's pretty unstoppable right now. But what does that timeline work out with KD? He's going to be old. And so he's on an expiring contract. The belief is that if you trade for him on an extension, and I mean, are you thinking KD's still going to be a significant piece in 2 years, 3 years when he's 41, 40 plus? I mean, just because LeBron is still able to kind of do it, he's the outlier in all of the history of basketball to be productive after 40. No one but him has ever been able to do that. I don't think KD's going to. He'll getting you right now 25 plus. It's not as efficient. He's certainly not the defender. Like, anyone trading for KD should view him as the piece that is piece to get them over to the hump and be competitive for a title. Minnesota makes an incredible amount of. I don't think he helps the Knicks when it comes to defense, and if that's their calling card and everything they got going on, They were just in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they did need one extra score. So if you talk yourself into it, that fit makes sense because KD alongside Brunson gives you two guys that can create their own shot and you in KD for 25 any night just about. But some of these other ones, like Miami, you KD to Miami, and you still have a team that is probably in the play-in. Like, I don't know what that's really. And it's the same thing for the Spurs. Unless their ultimate goal right now is we want to give away, going to have to give away some of the draft picks. I know the Suns said they're coming off their mark of where they wanted originally to get 6 first-round picks, which is just outrageous. But even if you give up 3 of them, say, and matching contracts, what are you getting out of that? Like, that is, even if every piece is healthy, with as stacked as the West is, that's a play-in team. Like, that's maybe top 6, lose first round. Like, are you just selling the farm to make the playoffs and get bounced in the first round? Like, what does that really provide your team at all? Like, that's a little bit of experience for an incredible price tag. And it's crazy that this is like a beautiful trade opportunity for the Suns, and yet there's no faith, or at least I have no faith, that Ishbia would really go for this trade, because he's not a guy. He's shown time and time again he is not a patient owner. He's not a patient guy that wants to build a team, a franchise, a program. He's a guy that wants to buy a team and a program, and he's got an endless checkbook to go out there and do it. But that's still, in today's NBA, not something that is able to happen. It's something you got to really kind of manufacture your own talent. And they have a chance to get some draft picks, a chance to try and start doing that. But from every way that he talks, everything that he has done to this point, this is a very impatient man who just now again going on to another new coach, now again bringing in a new GM this offseason. And we're clearly not done with the moves that they are going to be making. So when it looks at that trade, I think if you're a Suns fan, you got to hope that somehow this happens, that somehow it goes through. You're not going to get many of those young guys, but maybe you can get those young guys in 2 expiring contracts, get that money off your books, get some draft picks, and then you're going to be awful next year, but you be awful next year. 1 more year with Bradley Beal. Hopefully, then point you can either swallow the last part of his contract and cut him, and take a miracle. Some team is just looking for to salary dump, and you can throw him in some sort of trade. That'd be great. Get him on his last year off, and maybe you can make something happen with that. But you're going to be awful either way next year. Go awful with a purpose. You might as well be awful with the direction and a plan, because the panic button press in case of emergency that they've done the last few years has compounded these issues and made it way worse. And that's how they went from being in the NBA final and handicapped for the entire foreseeable future right now. Again, if Spurs are being honest about this and being serious, what a weird thing for them to do. They've isn't the coach there anymore, but when is the last time in their tenure they have ever tried to go out, make a play in a trade? And so they've never done this before. They've gone the other way. They traded Kawhi because they got upset him when he was a top 3 player in the league and a guy that had helped deliver them title. They, at that point, were uninterested anymore in kind of dealing with any of that nonsense. They keep guys around. They don't trade for big names in free agency. They get their own guys. They do their own system. It's been the Spurs mantra forever. So if they make this move now, one, it kind of signals that whole pot's gone and they've kind of changed directions now. But 2, like, what great and relevant for 25 years now is what they've been doing, and this goes completely in it. It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand all around how it would happen. If you're a Suns fan, you got to be praying for that, because it'd be the unbelievable the lifeline just thrown to Phoenix as they are kind of drowning right now in their, and it'd be wonderful if it happened. I can't imagine the Spurs are going to do it, but I mean, did, and if he's reporting that this is the team that right now is leading the way, cross your fingers if you're a Phoenix fan, and hope that when that trade offer, that phone call does ring, that Ishbia doesn't do something wild with this whole situation, or then blame it on the GM, even though everybody knows he's got his fingerprints on any move that happens right now. So that is a weird team to be leading the pack. I would have figured Houston for sure would have been the team as a favorite. And that, I still say that makes the most sense with them having all of Phoenix's picks and having so many good young players and having guys on expiring contracts, whether it's Van Fleet or some of these other pieces that you could get there. It just matches beautifully for what the Suns need and want. And when you look at the Rockets, I mean, they lose the first round because they have nobody that can get them a bucket in the half court. They have every piece other than a guy that can make that happen. And, I mean, that is KD in a nutshell. So I still look at it and say that's the best fit by far. But if the Spurs are leading the way, don't hang up the phone call. Just accept it. If you can get a few picks, get a few expiring contracts, start the reboot. But, again, Ishbia is not a man that wants to press reboot. So, weird one to be leading the way. Let me know what y'all think. I would go for it. I'd definitely do it, but I just don't see how either team would really want this one. So I don't know how they're the one leading the pack right now.